Alright, superstars, I'll show you my composter, how it works and all the different iterations we've had up to this point. Alright, so pretty much what we got 2 high density polyethylene drums that are just mated up on the tops. So the first thing I did is I just made this drum and I made a kind of a skid for it. You can kind of see there's a little bit, it's kind of crowded in here now, but there's just some casters underneath here, just like 3-inch casters on a skid. And then I've got a linear actuator right here. What it does is it just kind of climbs up through here and it pushes on these, just rotates around, and then got a little bit of a cleat right here that holds it. I have bad spacing on some of these cleats, and so it's actually stuck right here. See, it can't travel down all the way to get the next cleat because I haven't built enough into it. Or maybe it's going to do it this time. Make me a liar. Nope, see? It trips the limit switch before it can grab the next cleat. I think it's because I didn't space these on the drum properly all the way. So I just screwed these blocks to this drum as little receivers for this pawl that I put on here. So I've just got 2 momentary, normally open switches. This is actually an automotive horn switch. That's a 12-volt linear actuator. And then down here is another little limit switch hidden under that piece of wood. Works pretty good. So I've set these relays up. In order to make the linear actuator travel back and forth, you've got to run the polarity, pause, neg, and then you got to run the polarity, neg, pause to run it out and then to run it back in. So I've set these relays up that when one's on, it runs out, and then when the other one's on, it runs in. Just get it out of that stuck spot. Okay, so that's pretty much how the drum works, and the whole idea is to let air into the compost. I made this little deal. You just throw it in this chute and then kind of push it into the drum, and as it rotates, it kind of takes the material down through there and makes it all an equal level all the way through. I put this chunk of wood in here to keep it from sliding down, but essentially this is what we got inside there. Just kind of like mucky, nasty, wet stuff. And then as it fills up, it'll start to run out this hole. I don't quite have it clear full. Okay, so this just stopped. I've got this little timer. It's kind of a cool little timer. So as you can see, it's got the red number is, oh, it shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have went to 0. Should have went to 200. Maybe I have the settings wrong, but so the blue number is how long it's off, and the red number is how long it's on. It's kind of cool. Pretty simple. It's like $8 on Amazon. Pretty sweet timer, because the duty cycle on this RAM is 4 minutes on, 1 minute off. So I want this drum to do about 2 revolutions an hour just to keep air in the material. Now, because I'm in kind of a colder climate, I was hoping that the heat, the microbiological activity off the compost would keep my drum warm, but I tried this in October and it totally didn't work. My whole drum just froze solid because I was adding water, and it just would freeze the whole thing. And the RAM can't pick that up when it's just frozen to the bottom. So I grabbed some red PEX, like 15 bucks, 100 feet of red PEX, and I just wiggled it around and just kind of messed around, just tried to get it all crammed in here. And then I added this block heater to it. This is just a regular, like, you'll see these on generators or tractors or anything. I think it's like a 1300 watt block heater. And so when it turns on, it's pulling cold air in this bottom tube. There's a union right here. Pulling it cold water in the bottom tube, and as it warms up, it's expanding, right? So in a generator, it's just this closed loop, and it pushes the hot water out the top, and then that pushes more cold water in down here, right? But because I didn't get all the air out of this PEX, and it was kind of like having issues, it wouldn't operate on the convection principle. I grabbed a coolant overflow tank off of a Honda Civic in the junkyard, and I just got a little action, cut the top out of it right here, and then I threw a aquarium submersible pump in there, and I got some hard vinyl pipe, so I could make that corner. So it just moves like, I think it's like 8 gallons per hour, and it keeps this PEX nice and warm. So all this is just circulating the water at all times. And then this block heater's got an internal thermostat on it that keeps it at like 130. And it'll just keep this whole entire PEX line warm all the way through. So that's something I added. And I think as we come into winter, you know, we're in the spring now, but as we come into winter this fall, I'm going to want to put like 4 or 5 inches of blue foam or batting or something on this thing. Insulate the lid. I don't know exactly what we're going to have to do here, but I built this whole entire enclosure out of just garbage that I had around. I had a big old glue lamb that I ripped this out of, and I just kind of came up with parts and pieces. This is some janky stuff. I hot formed some barrel and made a little stand for it. And this was like, had some outlet holes in them, so I patched that in and just kind of made the whole thing work so that I could kind of build this prototype. These are old cabinet doors off of some stuff my mom had laying around, and I just built the whole thing out of garbage that I found. This is like 3 different sheets that aren't square, and I kind of don't, it doesn't bother me too much because I don't want to spend a bunch of money building the wrong type of machine, you know. So this is my little Invessle composter, backyard composter.